IELTS Speaking with Minho. Part 1, 1.1. Do you often feel bored? Honestly, yes, I feel bored quite often. Even though I try to keep myself occupied with various activities, sometimes they just don't seem engaging enough. Even when I'm busy, my mind tends to wander, and I feel a sense of restlessness. I think it's because I have a hard time finding things that truly capture my interest. 1.2. When would you feel bored? I usually get bored when doing repetitive tasks or when I'm stuck in a routine without much variation. For instance, if I have to do the same household chores day after day, I would be tortured by boredom. It is important for me to have a mix of new activities with some level of excitement to keep things interesting. Therefore, I often seek new challenges or stimulating activities to look forward to. 1.3. Did you ever find school boring when you were a child? Of course, like any other kid, I sometimes found school tedious, especially when it came to my least favorite subjects. In my case, it was math. Numbers have never been a strength of mine, and I often felt clueless during the lectures. I would doodle in my notebook to pass the time, but they also made it harder for me to stay focused on the lesson. 1.4. What sort of things do you find most boring now? Now, as an adult, filling out forms or dealing with bureaucratic paperwork can be incredibly monotonous. Whether it's applying for permits, updating records, or handling tax documents, time seems to drag on, and sometimes it takes me more than half a day to get things done. Moreover, I often have to wait in long queues or wait for information to be processed, which only adds to the tedium. 1.5. What do you do to stop yourself from feeling bored? When I feel bored at work or in class, I try to find small ways to re-engage myself. For instance, I might take a little stroll to stretch my muscles and clear my mind. If possible, I would prioritize tasks that I feel most engaging. This way keeps me motivated, and other tasks seem more achievable. These strategies help me stay refreshed, focused, and productive throughout the day. 1.6. What kinds of things would make you feel bored? There are plenty of mundane tasks I encounter daily that can make me feel bored. Simple things like waiting in long queues or sitting in traffic are prime examples. At work, I often get bored of doing repetitive tasks such as data entry. The feeling of being stuck with nothing productive to do can be quite frustrating. Time feels like it's crawling by when such things happen. 1.7. What would you do if you feel bored? Out of boredom, I usually turn to activities that stimulate my mind and keep me entertained, such as listening to music. Music is the perfect solution to help me unwind and lift my mood. Additionally, when I'm with other people, I find socializing to be particularly effective in alleviating boredom, as it provides meaningful interaction and enriches my day. 1.8. Do you think childhood is boring or adulthood is boring? I think both childhood and adulthood have their moments of boredom, but in different ways. As a child, boredom often came from having to follow dull routines like chores or homework. In adulthood, spending long hours at work can already feel tiresome. On top of that, there are other responsibilities like managing bills and paperwork, which only add to the monotony. 1.9. What are the things that make you happy? As a generally easygoing person, it doesn't take much to make me happy. Simple pleasures like watching a good movie, listening to a moving song, or indulging in some delicious food can instantly lift my mood. I also find happiness in spending time with the people I love. Whether I'm just hanging out with friends or having a heart-to-heart conversation with a loved one, being surrounded by those who care about me is a surefire way to brighten my day. The feeling of being able to confide in someone and share my thoughts and feelings is truly priceless. 1.10. Do you think money can make people happy? Well, money can certainly play a role in contributing to people's happiness to some extent. When you don't have to worry about financial burdens, you can feel more relaxed and at ease, without constantly stressing about paying bills or making ends meet. This can help you lead a more comfortable and fulfilling life. Additionally, having access to quality healthcare, nutritious food, and other resources that promote good health is crucial for overall well-being and happiness. Money can afford you these things, allowing you to prioritize your health and well-being without concerning about the cost. How do you handle stress? When I'm feeling stressed out, indulging in some sweets can often help put me in a good mood almost instantly. However, I've also found that participating in sports activities can be a helpful way to alleviate stress. This is because when we work out, our brains release dopamine, which is a hormone making us feel better and more at ease. It's a great way to get some physical exercise and also boost our mood at the same time. Part 2. Describe a time when you were very scared. When I'm feeling stressed out, indulging in some sweets can often help put me in a good mood almost instantly. However, I've also found that participating in sports activities can be a helpful way to alleviate stress. This is because when we work out, our brains release dopamine, which is a hormone making us feel better and more at ease. It's a great way to get some physical exercise and also boost our mood at the same time. One of the most terrifying experiences of my life occurred in 2003, a day before my 8th birthday. On that night, so excited was I that I couldn't sleep a wink. As I was bouncing off the walls, I decided to throw myself a little party in my room. I lit some candles and placed them on a plastic table next to some books, cheerfully but quietly singing happy birthday to myself so as not to wake anyone up. As the night wore on, I began to feel drowsy after a while of fantasizing about all the gifts I would receive the following day. But before heading to bed, silly me opted for a glass of tap water to put out those candles, instead of just blowing them out. Suddenly, the fire blazed up, and in no time, the books caught fire too. The plastic table burst into flames, and I was petrified beyond words. Without wasting a moment, I ran to my parents' bedroom, screaming for help. My father, who was quick on his feet, managed to extinguish the flames and save my bedroom from being engulfed by the fire. It was a close call, and the thought that my house could have burned down to the ground completely made my blood run cold. This incident was one tough chemistry lesson to learn. Turned out, tap water can still catch on fire due to its high level of combustible gas. Although I didn't get scolded much for my silly mistake, I still felt extremely regretful for my carelessness. Whenever my parents bring up the story, I shudder at the thought of what could have happened. It's probably the biggest adrenaline rush I've ever experienced, and a lesson I'll never forget. Part 3. Do you think it's good to show your emotions when you're angry? I think it depends on the situation, however. Expressing anger in a healthy and constructive way can be beneficial. Anger is a natural human emotion, so suppressing it can cause negative effects on both our physical and mental well-being. To be more specific, constant feelings of anger can lead to cardiovascular disorders, and failing to express anger healthily can cause mental problems such as depression and anxiety. By finding healthy ways to express and manage anger, we can reduce the risk of mental health issues and improve our overall quality of life. Why do you think men tend to show their emotions less than women? I believe societal expectations and cultural norms are the main reasons men show their emotions less frequently than women. Men are often socialized to conform to traditional masculine ideals, which emphasize strength and self-affirmation. This can create pressure on men to suppress their emotions, as they may fear being seen as weak or unmanly. Furthermore, men tend to have the burden of maintaining a cool and calm image to be attractive, especially to their romantic partners, making it even more challenging for them to express their emotions openly.